Hello, my name is Stuart Herbert. I'm the lead developer on Phix, and in this screencast I'm going to show you how to download and install Phix onto Ubuntu 11.10. Phix is a command line tool for PHP. Makes it extremely easy to create and maintain your own pair installer compatible components. Makes it easy for you to reuse your PHP code in your applications, share your code amongst a team, share your code with the wider world. Installing Phix is very easy. We've made this very easy for you, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. The first thing we need to do on this brand new copy of Ubuntu that I've just installed, so we just need to install one command line tool before you can install Phix itself. So if we go to the terminal, the tool we need to install is called curl. And if you've not heard of curl before, there's a command line utility and also a library that can be used in a popular PHP extension to download files from the internet. And we're going to use it to download and run the installation script for Phix. So that's just installing now. And there we go. So if we go to the Phix website and we go to the installation section, which you can reach from this top navigation bar, you can see here that we've created one-line install instructions for a variety of popular developer operating systems. There is a one-line installer for OS X, which has been tested on Lion. There is an installer for CentOS 6, which also works on Red Hat Enterprise Linux. An installer for Debian, which has been tested on Squeeze, which is Debian 6. An installer for Fedora, which has been tested on Fedora 15. But the one we'll be using in this screencast is the installer on Ubuntu, which was originally created for 11.04 but works just as well on 11.10. So to use this, we're going to select the text, copy it to the clipboard, minimize Firefox, go back to our terminal, and here we're going to paste the text. Okay, hit enter. This downloads our installation script, and as the super user, root, for those of you who are more used to Windows, that's the equivalent of the administrator user in many ways. It then runs the installation script. Now the reason we have an install script for Phix is to make things as easy as possible for you. We want you to get up and running with Phix with as little effort as possible. And so the first thing it does is it makes sure you've got a working PHP environment on your Ubuntu machine. In this case, because PHP wasn't installed at all, what it did is it went and downloaded Ubuntu's package of PHP and installed it and made sure that was configured in a sane manner. If you already have PHP installed, it will leave it alone. It won't interfere with your PHP installation at all. Now the next thing it's doing is it's downloading and installing some dependencies from your operating system that we need. And wherever possible, we reuse the versions of software that your chosen operating system has already packaged. In this case, Ubuntu. So we're pulling down aptitude packages from the Ubuntu repositories onto this computer and installing those. And then the next step before we do anything else is to upgrade the pair installer. That's the pair command, which you may already be familiar with from the command line. We're upgrading that to the latest version. The pair installer is actively maintained by the pair group, and the bug fixes that come out are the bug fixes I'm normally testing against when I'm working on Phix. So it's always a good idea to keep pair upgraded to the latest version. Once pair's upgraded, we can then use the pair command to start installing PHP extensions that Ubuntu hasn't packaged, and also to install pair components. Now, the first thing that happens here is the ncurses extension for PHP prompts you for some information. Just press the enter key to accept the defaults for both. That's all we need, and the C compiler can go off and build the extension for you. Unfortunately, the installer, the PECL command that allows you to install PHP extensions from source code, doesn't make those options available on the command line. And a future version of the script will work around that. For the moment, you just have to press enter to accept those default versions. So we've installed the ncurses component there, and we're now installing another component here, which hopefully is proc title. Flew past so quickly I didn't get to see which one it is it installs next, but it should be proc title. Yes, it is. So proc title is an interesting extension you may not have come across before. And what that does is, when you're looking at the list of commands that are running on your computer, instead of seeing just the word PHP when a PHP script's running, you can change what appears in that list. So Phix sets the name of its processes to say Phix, so it turns up properly in a command list. So if Phix is ever doing anything that takes a long time to run, you can still see exactly which process it is, in case you need to intervene. And now the next step in our installer is to start pulling down pair packages that we depend on, or more accurately, pair compatible packages. Phix provides you with a rich environment for doing development work. It's not just a skeleton for you to write your own code in, but it also pulls in and encourages you to use high quality tools to make your development process go very, very well. And as a result of that, we are reusing software that's already out there, that's already built as components. And so we use the pair command to pull in all of those software dependencies. And that's what's happening now. So the pair command's going off, and it's discovering all of these, what the pair command calls a channel. And all it is a server that pair knows how to talk to download software from. That's all a channel is. It's just a URL with files at the other end in the correct place with the right names and the right formats for pair to discover. And it's pulling those down now. And as it loads down, pulls down the metadata from each channel and looks at the components that we want. Those in turn also depend on components, some of which have their own channels. So it's going off and discovering those channels and then downloading those. So it's building a dependency tree at the minute. And as you can see, putting all this in a one-line command that you cut and paste into a terminal just takes all the hassle out of it, all the pain. All you have to do is kick the command off and then pop into the kitchen, make yourself a nice cup of coffee or a cup of tea if that's your preference, whilst the pair installer does its thing. Now you may have noticed as I'm talking, scrolling up the screen are a number of warning messages and a number of informational messages. Now, if you are new to working with pair components, that might be a little off-putting at first sight. It might have you worried that something's going wrong. In general, That's not the case. All those messages are saying, they're saying one of two things. They're either saying that there's no stable version of a component that's able to download, so it's having to skip it, or it's saying that there's an optional component that hasn't been picked up and installed because it's optional. Now the thing about the stable components is PHP pair compatible packages, what they allow is the ability to publish a stable version that for most people the installer will pick up and just use, and then for people who are testing the next version before it's released to everybody, allows you to push out, for better word, pre-releases with different tags like alpha, beta and snapshot are the three main tags. And it's certainly true that a lot of the older components that get pulled in during the install of Phix, no stable version is currently available, and that's why you'll see those type of error messages. Tends to be with the older components that Phix ultimately depends upon, or PHP unit depends upon, or thing depends upon, and it's much rarer. You see those errors when we're pulling in some of the more modernly components. So here we are now, all the tarballs have been downloaded, and the pair installer is now installing all of those components in the right order that are needed to get Phix up and running. And just to repeat what I said earlier, as you can see, we are definitely reusing a lot of code here. And Phix itself, as you'll see, is also built out of components as well. So there's a lot of components out there already for you to start using, start examining, and I hope that by installing Phix and getting used to working with it, that you're able to join us in creating componentized software. So now that the installation is complete, we can run the version to see that Phix version 0.15.0 has just been installed. And if we run the Phix command by itself, what we get is the built-in help. Let's scroll up here a little bit. Shows you the command line options that it takes, and an explanation of each of those options, and this is all built-in help. This is created by a component called command line lib that Phix was written for Phix, but you can reuse in your own code. And then a list of the commands that Phix currently understands. Now Phix itself is a component-based architecture, it's pluggable, and the commands for creating PHP components and working with them are one of the plugins called PHP Library. And you can find more information about those here on the Phix website, and also on my blog, which is loading up now, where I've been creating a series of blog posts here, showing you all the tools we use, the ideas behind components, and looking at the inside of components. And I'll definitely be adding more documentation to here over the coming weeks and months. My name's Stuart Herbert, and this has been a screencast to show you how to install Phix on Ubuntu 11.10.